Hello, my dear students of BA Part 3 Honors. I welcome you all after a long gap of 6 days. As you know, we have to do in this class a famous novel of Mulk Raj Anand. And the novel you know very well is Untouchable. And what's the today's topic I am going to deal with? Do you know? The topic is Untouchable as a psychological novel or the use of the stream of consciousness technique in the novel Untouchable. And further, I would like to remind you all once again, please don't forget to send back your feedbacks or comments after viewing my e-contents or after going through my PDFs, as it will help me a great deal to do efforts in creating something new for all of you. Okay, students, let me start today's topic. Mulk Raj Anand's Untouchable, whose hero is Bakha, is mainly a novel of social protest, and many of Anand's novels in the future may be studied as novels of protest and resentment against evil traditions, narrow minded outlook, and conservatism. In each of his major novels, Anand shows his sympathy for the poor and the downtrodden and protest against the injustice done to them and expresses his resentment at their plight by showing the ugliness and misery of their lives, by showing that it is all the result of the injustice and exploitation to which they have been subjected by more affluent and influential sections of society. In Untouchable, he has expressed his resentment at and has protested against the unjust and oppressive caste system which has compelled millions and millions of people to live like pigs in a sty. E.M. Foster calls it a devilish system which could have been contrived only by Indians. Anand has expressed his protest against poverty, injustice, and exploitation and shows all against the inhuman caste system by depicting a day in the life of a sweeper boy named Bakha. Bakha is an exceptional, uncommon individual entirely different from the other untouchables, and this uncommonness of the central figures has been stressed from the very beginning. Bakha has a deeper awareness of his position in society than many other untouchables, including the members of his own family. He is both static and dynamic. He is static because centuries of servility have made him weak, helpless, and morally degenerate. He submits and accepts his lot, for he feels helpless. He is dynamic in as much as he is conscious of his plight, suffers terrible spiritual anguish, and tries to understand the social and economic forces that deny him and his like his human rights. Baka of the morning is not the same as Baka of the evening. His life remains the same, but during the course of the day there is a sea change in his mind. He has attained some measure of self realization and self knowledge. Actually, Untouchable is a psychological novel, and we have to focus how Untouchable is as a psychological novel, and the use of the stream of consciousness technique in this novel. Untouchable is a psychological novel. It explores the happenings inside this mind of the major characters of the novel, more especially of Bakha's mind. Mulk Raj Anand has used the stream of consciousness technique in it with amazing dexterity. M.K. Nayak quotes Anand saying, when I began to write novels about India, though I took Joyce's stream of consciousness as my method, I had to apply it to a different situation revealed to me by my upbringing in a province of the British Empire. I felt that the novel should not press the inner monologue beyond a certain point so that humanness may remain a variable factor in the situation. Thus, it is apparent that Anand uses only the modified mode of the stream of consciousness. He has simplified it a great deal to give his readers a vivid picture of Pakha's mind and milieu. He has adopted the Joycean method to suit his purpose and has not overused it. He has in fact blended the traditional and the stream of consciousness method of telling a story. So let me uh, explain what is stream of consciousness novel. It is a novel that reveals the mind, the inner being of a character. It does not follow the clock or calendar time. The time likewise a film is flashed backward or forward. Now we are in the present, then we are sent back to the past, and then all of a sudden the future creeps in. Instead of external action revealed through dialogue in the traditional novel, this kind of novel concentrates on the internal action and uses interior monologue. Anand's main emphasis in Untouchable is not on the action of the novel, but on the way the mind of its hero works. He presents Bakha as a young sweeper boy with a highly sensitive type of temperament. He therefore is prone to think and think on everything that happens to him. He is exposed to one humiliating incident after another in the course of an autumn day in the novel, and is therefore given to us an unbroken process of thinking from dawn to dusk. The technique miraculously helps Anand to project the inner drama of his soul on the pages of his book. There could be no method more effective than it to apprise us with torments that an outcast in Indian society is destined to suffer on account of the murderous caste system that we have so religiously been observing for more than 2000 years. The injury done by the caste system is not physical, it is in fact mental. It could be expressed by only the extreme of consciousness technique. The term stream of consciousness was first used by William James in 1890 to point out the unbroken flow of thought in the waking mind. Now, the technique of stream of consciousness is used in modern fiction. Stream of consciousness is a kind of introspection. Passages of introspection are found in novelists such as George Meredith and Henry James. The method or mode of stream of consciousness in a novel is to represent all the scenes and events as they come into the mind or consciousness of the central character. It captures the full flow of character's mental process. A stream of consciousness includes conscious and half-conscious thoughts, memories, feelings, and random associations. Some critics by stream of consciousness mean interior monologue. James Joyce used well the technique of stream of consciousness in his novel Ulysses. Dorothy Richardson and Virginia Woolf have used the technique of stream of consciousness in their novels. The inside of Baka is expressed with the help of his own soliloquies, which is a major technique of this type of fiction. For example, after the first traumatic episode of touching, Anand gives us his mental reaction in the following words: "But there was a smouldering rage in his soul. His feelings would rise like spurts of smoke from a half-smothered fire in pitiful, unbalanced jerks, when the recollection of some abuse or rebuke he had suffered kindled a spark in the ashes of remorse inside him, and in the smoky atmosphere of his mind arose dim ghosts of forms peopling the scene he had been through. The picture of the touched man stood in the forefront, among several indistinct faces, his blood-shot eyes, his ridiculously agitated manner, his abuse, and there was the circle of the crowd, jeering, soothing, abusing, while he himself stood with joined hands in the center. Why was all this? He asked himself in the soundless speech of self, receiving and transmitting emotions, which was his unusual way of communicating with himself. Thus, we are supplied with even the most intricate details of how Baka's mind, soul, and heart react to undeserved humiliations in the novel to obtain from him a fuller and richer flow of the stream of consciousness. The fantasies and nightmares of Baka are also revealed to us. While going to the marriage of Ramratan's sister, Baka's mind turns romantic. His stream of consciousness warms up into a highly sexual reverie. He had felt as if he could forcibly gather the girl into his embrace and ravish her. The working of Lakha's mind is also revealed through the technique of the stream of consciousness in this novel. Untouchable, thus, is a psychological novel. The use of the stream of consciousness bears before the readers the bruised mind and soul of Baka, his fears and anxieties, his feelings and emotions, his ideas and reactions. Anand uses the stream of consciousness forcefully and successfully. In many other subsequent novels too, he uses it with convincing success. Okay, students, let me conclude here with bye for now and wish you all the best. Thank you.